Your ancestors survived plagues, broken bones, and literal bear attacks, without antibiotics, x-rays, or even band-aids. Meanwhile, you get a sniffle and start Googling, can you die from mild congestion? So how the actual hell did they not all die at age 12? Turns out ancient people were doing some stuff your modern lotion-slathered brain wouldn't believe. And weirdly, a lot of it worked. Here's how prehistoric humans armed with zero medicine and a healthy dose of grit managed to stay alive. Number 1, poop transplants, but make it vintage. Okay, so, buckle up. Imagine you're a Neanderthal with gut problems. You've been eating bark, questionable berries, and maybe that one shiny bug that looked kind of delicious, your digestive system screaming. Now you don't have a doctor or a probiotic, but you do have an elder who swears by the ancient ways, and by that I mean eating someone else's poop. Yeah, coprophagy. It's a thing. And before you gag, here's the kicker. Modern science says it works. Fecal microbiota transplantation, taking a healthy person's gut bacteria and putting it into someone who's sick, is now a legit medical treatment. It helps rebuild a gut biome that's been nuked by illness or antibiotics. But ancient humans didn't know that. They just noticed. Somehow that certain remedies from dung helped with digestion or infection. They weren't calling it microbial diversity, but they were using early probiotic therapy without knowing it. Your ancestors were basically walking petri dishes with a touch of shamanic flair, and you thought kombucha was edgy. Number 2, the OG intermittent fasting starved to survive. You skipped breakfast once and told everyone you were doing intermittent fasting. Congratulations, you've done what ancient humans called a Tuesday. For most of human history, not eating was just normal. Hunting failed. Too bad the river froze over, no fish for you. That root turned out to be poison. R.I.P. Greg. But here's the weird part. That involuntary starvation actually helped. Modern research shows fasting can kickstart cellular repair, boost metabolism, and promote longevity. It's called autophagy, where your body eats its own damaged cells, like it's Marie Kondoing your insides. A 2016 Nobel Prize even went to Yoshinori Osumi for figuring this out. So when your ancestors went 3 days without food, then feasted on roasted mammoth thigh, their bodies weren't just desperate. They were detoxing at the molecular level. Your body still has those survival genes. It's just confused by Uber. Number 3, dirt was their multivitamin. Modern you drink celery juice and takes a $47 supplement called Gut Vital Zen. Ancient you licked rocks and played in dirt. Guess who had more actual exposure to immune-boosting microbes? Early humans were constantly covered in dust, soil, animal hair, tree bark, goo, and that was a good thing. Studies now back the hygiene hypothesis. That early exposure to a wide range of microbes trains your immune system, reduces allergies, lowers autoimmune risk. Kids raised on farms, statistically, less asthma, less eczema. Ancient humans lived in a giant microbial playground. Their immune systems built like tanks. They didn't wash their hands before dinner. They probably didn't have dinner, but they also weren't sneezing every spring from tree pollen sensitivity. Turns out dirt was doing some heavy lifting. Number 4, pain. Just a suggestion. You stub your toe, and it's an emergency. Ancient people, they got gored by wild boars and kept walking. Pain was just background noise. You had to ignore it because predators didn't care that your ankle was swollen. But here's the wild twist. Pain tolerance. Partly cultural, ancient cultures trained for it like a sport. Think they were just tougher. A 2012 study in pain says marathon runners have higher pain tolerance, but also they interpret pain as effort, not suffering. Their mental health care. Suck it up. It builds character. And weirdly, it kind of worked. Number 5, herbalism wasn't just vibes and flowers. Imagine wandering into the forest, munching on leaves until something makes your fever drop. That sounds insane, but it's how early medicine started. Not all guesswork either. Ethnobotany is how ancient people used plants intelligently. Modern drugs. Many are direct descendants. Aspirin from willow bark. Quinine from the cinchona tree, used by the Quechua people. Opium. Let's not even go there. They literally called it the joy plant. Ancient people were backyard pharmacists with no lab coats and a high tolerance for risk. If one leaf made your headache better, congratulations, you just invented medicine. Number 6, they had better posture than you. Let's talk spines. Yours looks like a question mark, eating chips on the couch. Theirs straight as a javelin in flight. They didn't sit in chairs or cars or on sad office stools from IKEA. They squatted, climbed, stretched, moved constantly. Bodies made for function, not ergonomic optimization. A 2015 Harvard study found lower back pain is more common in industrialized societies, less common in people who live like our ancestors. Ancient people had built-in physical therapy, walking, carrying, squatting, and not staring at phones for 6 hours a day. Your ancient grandma didn't have yoga pants, but her core strength could probably crush you. Number 7. Cold showers. Try glacial rivers. You've been cold plunging. For 90 seconds and feel like a Norse god, ancient humans were bathing in icy rivers, snow hiking barefoot, sleeping with wind in their faces, not to biohack, but because there was no heating. And guess what? That suffering had benefits. Modern science calls it hormesis. Mild stressors triggering beneficial responses. Cold activates brown fat, improves circulation, increases norepinephrine, linked to mood and focus. Wim Hof didn't invent this. He just rebranded it. Research out of Finland shows regular cold exposure reduces inflammation, boosts immune resilience. So when cave people dunked themselves in glacier runoff just to wash their armpits, they were unknowingly triggering cellular superpowers. You scream if the shower takes too long to warm up. Number 8. They didn't sit. David Reichlen studied the Hadza. Even when they're resting, they squat or kneel that engages muscles, boosts circulation, improves joint mobility. Even at rest, they burned more calories than sedentary Westerners, not by doing CrossFit, just by not sitting like wet laundry. You think you're active because your watch yelled at you to stand for 2 minutes, cute. Meanwhile, your ancestors were dodging snakes and doing casual uphill cardio just to drink water, and that's how they stayed alive without medicine. So to recap, your ancestors survived on dirt fire, freezing water, communal snuggles, and the placebo effect, and they still had less back pain than you. If your brain made it this far without gaslighting you again, consider liking, subscribing, or leaving a weird fact in the comments. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.